Welcome to the Sisterhood of Sweat. And I'm going to start us off talking about comeback, talking about falling down and dusting ourselves off and getting back up time after time again. That certainly has been my fitness competing career because I taught myself how to do all of the things that I have done on stage at 40 and even was learning new things and able to do new tricks at 57, 58. And so it's really about getting up in that old adage. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Go back to the drawing board, try it one more time, just like Thomas Edison found what 1,000 ways the light bulb didn't work and one way that it did. And you're going to have that light bulb moment if you keep going and you don't give up. And I started into my fitness career having no idea when I started that it would be ever evolving and such a lifelong career, so rich, so rewarding, so exciting, uh, all encompassing, and helping others to achieve their goals. And so I'm going to start us off with a Bible verse. For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again, but the wicked stumble when calamity strikes. Do not gloat when your enemy falls. When they stumble, do not let your heart be glad. That's probably a tall order sometimes, right? But I get what he means is to have compassion, because yet for the grace of God, there go like we're all able to err, and to have mercy and compassion for each other is it's being the better person. So another verse, Proverbs 24:16, fall 7 times, stand up 8. And so that just goes with when you fall down, you got to get back up. And sometimes it isn't pretty. And I will say that certainly felt like the case when I had my ACL tear in 2006. That I thought was rough. That that was rough, but I realized it wasn't near as rough as my other injuries that came later when I was 57, 58. And I remember with the ACL tear, I they told me they would do it right away, the surgery, and that I'd be able to compete at the championships. And it was 4.5 months later. And I remember the doctor wasn't going to let me do it. And I was like, oh, heck, I'm not. You told me if I got that surgery, I was going to be able to compete. And and I did. And I won my first championship. Not my first rodeo or my first show, but it was a larger show. And so I just remember that being such a rough journey. It took me 2 years before my ACL tear leg felt like my normal leg. And now pretty much like I don't notice the difference. But you know how we can all have horrific things happen to us that we're not expecting, that take us out of the game, so to speak, that make us feel, I don't know if I want to say less than, but not like our normal selves. And it's hard. You struggle, you find different parts of yourself that you didn't know existed. And my advice is when you have an injury, a failure, a tragedy, things that you need to work through, is to give yourself space, give yourself some grace, and also start working on the other avenues and the other things that make up you, because you're not just your physicality, you're so much more than that. I mean, people think about you, they think about your spirit and who you are and what you bring to the table. And you are not just your body. You are so much more than that. And so during that time, Kira Kakanis, who is married to, now I'm screwing up, one of the Brady Bunch, married to one of the Brady Bunch. She was Miss Fitness USA. She sends me a book, and it was all about how your injury is a gift. It wasn't feeling like a gift at the time, but it was truly a gift because it hooked me up to many of my dreams and things that really took me a lot farther in life than my physicality could. So thinking about that is springboarding me forward. And this is what I'm getting at. I was the diehard at Miss Fitness USA. I went from writing a letter to Michelle Boyko, the owner of Miss Fitness, because somebody suggested older competitors competing against younger ones would make a fascinating article. And I first said, I'm not a writer. And then I thought, well, why don't I take a stab at it? And that's probably pretty much how I have done everything. It's like, take your shot. Don't just sit there in fear. See what happens from it. See what might come of it. And that became my first article. Then I went on to write cover stories for them and my own column called Fit Over 40 for 15 years. Yes, I hung on to that well into my 50s. And I competed with that organization as long as they were having international shows till 2010. And I formed a fast friendship with Michelle Boyko, and I really realized how much she meant to me when I was, getting on a fitness cover, because at one point I was supposed to be on one of their covers. And this is back when digital was new and the guy didn't back up the digital for the shoot. And so I didn't get on that cover, needless to say. And then it came time, I just kept thinking, I'm getting older, the clock is ticking, and maybe that time has come and gone. But I was wrong. And I'm going to be on my third fitness cover coming out in January. And all of this really happened in like my 60s. So all of my covers have come out in my 60s, 60s, 61, and soon to be 62. So each year of my 60s, God has blessed me with my dreams coming true, many of my wildest dreams, because I got up. He enabled me to get up one more time. And it was all about that getting up. I was all about it, so focused on it when I tore my hamstring from the groin with bone fragments. I remember thinking I didn't know that it was completely gone when I competed in 2018. I didn't realize it, or I wouldn't have went on the stage. I would have been worried about doing worse damage. I didn't recognize, I knew I was hurt, but I didn't realize how badly I was hurt. And I just really used my mindset to get through that experience because it happened the night before. It was like that I was supposed to travel the night before. And I just really was listening to Joel Osteen, Coach Todd Durkin, Oprah, whatever I needed to get through it. And sitting in my room in a plush robe, drinking like cinnamon tea and just like coffee, and just really getting my mindset, just really focusing in on mind over matter. And I thought when I placed second in masters bikini and third in open fitness, which is 18 years on up, that's probably the farthest I'm ever going to go. Because let's face it, I didn't start gymnastics when I was 3. I started when I was 40, though I would always tell myself, they've had more time. Give yourself more time. And which really was the secret, more time at it and getting up each time you fall and dusting yourself off time and time again, not quitting, not giving up, not letting somebody's words stop you from what God has placed in your heart, that you know you are there to inspire, to encourage, to show strength, and to spread your message. Your fitness routine can be your message. Your teaching school can be your message. Your being a mom is your message. Your life does speak. And when Miss Michelle Boyko, I really wanted to show her when I came out on the Muscle and Fitness Hers cover. And she's has songs since passed, but I wanted to show her so bad when my first cover came out, which was the Bodyscape magazine cover, front and back. I was looking to show her, and because of what she had said, which I'm going to read to you now. So, my friend Shayna, who is an amazing gymnast, who has had a lot of injuries herself and her hips restructured, she said to Michelle, "If you have a minute, please say something nice and to everyone else about a mutual friend of ours, not me, but somebody we both know and love." And she asked Michelle, which I realize I must not have screenshotted, but who out of all the years in Miss Fitness had impressed her the most. And she said, "Just one? Okay, you're going to get me in trouble here. But to the ones I didn't choose, it was a hard choice. I'm really impressed with Linda Mitchell. I have watched her face so many challenges over the years that would have defeated many. She took those challenges like a champion to spur her to greater heights. Through her postings here on Facebook, I have caught glimpses of challenges she faced before I came to know her. She's a fighter. She may not win in the first few rounds, but she goes the distance to come out on top in the end." And that meant so much to me because there was so much talent at Ms. Fitness USA. Let's be real. We had Circus Olay competitors. We had people that were medalists in the Olympics and beautiful young girls that had their whole lives ahead of them. They haven't had children, weren't married yet. And so a lot of very talented individuals came through those doors at Miss Fitness USA. And so that meant so much to me, that comment. I treasured it. So when I finally had my first magazine cover, I really wanted to show her, but somehow I felt like maybe she had seen it before she had passed away from her battle with cancer. And I salute her, and I know somewhere she's looking down on all of us. She was like the mom. She was like the mom at Miss Fitness USA, and I will always treasure the time I spent writing scripts with her backstage and laughing and carrying on, and all the shows, how wonderful they were for us women, how empowering. how we bonded together and what an experience that she and her husband Wally built for all of us girls. So I just am taking this moment as a tribute because I think of her every year now on my birthday, because that's how I used to celebrate my birthday. Another year under the sun, I'm going to kick up my heels on that stage and celebrate my being here. And that's how we all should look at our birthdays, that it's another year under the sun to make your wildest dreams come true, to live with joy, to help others, and to just celebrate this life that God has given us. So I really was looking to share this with her. Uh, I really treasured those comments. So when you're looking back sometimes, you don't recognize how the dots all connect until you do. And I was putting together, repurposing for the podcast. It should be out on Monday. And it was a podcast I did with one of the Ms. Fitness competitors, Kim Dolan Leto, who also was a Fitness America, Fitness Universe competitor as well. And on this, we were talking, it was number one in iTunes. It's one of the best episodes ever that I've ever done. And it really was what I needed at the time. It was really speaking to me. And it was partially speaking to me about how women uh, need to be able to have a voice and recognize their personal power, and that we aren't stunted, or we're not supposed to shrink and diminish. There were lots of important women in the Bible that played important roles. And so many times we get these mistaken religious beliefs and ideas, or somewhere along the line, we thought we had to shrink, but God has called us to be all He created us for, and to be powerful, and to live in our purpose, and to have and use our voices. So if you're out there today feeling diminished or like you don't have a voice, one of the best things I can tell you to do is get up the eighth time after you've fallen down seven, and really just keep moving forward with what it is that you want to do, and to be determined, and to learn to stand up for yourself, because God didn't make us to be doormats, to be run over. We don't have, submitting to one another is one thing, but being a doormat is something else. So if you're a doormat, get up off the floor. And really, that would be my best advice on that one. So moving on to what I was getting ready to say, excuse me, I was listening to when I was talking, and this was before I knew what was going to happen. It's all these years later. And I was talking about, I had been thinking about hanging up my tennis shoes, and I had told my husband that I was going to quit because I had torn my hamstring from the groin. Then I tore my other hamstring, not completely, but I tore it good enough at Ruby Carter Blake's show during a fitness routine. Got another third in open fitness. And I literally was like, what is going on with my body? It's breaking down. Maybe I need to start building it up and just need to take a sabbatical here. But I did give it one more attempt a year out from all that, and I ripped my groin completely from the pelvis with bone fragments. So, like I was saying, I really was thinking, 3.5 years, I had thought, I need to hang it up. I need to quit. But before that 3.5 years passed, this was like in 2020, the next day, all these songs started coming to me. And then I was like, it was like, oh, like for a routine, it was like my theme song. It was just like coming to me. And so I had thought that I was supposed to quit. But then I realized I needed to be preparing for my comeback. And so I had my choreographer do a routine to the music, and we sent it off to Monster Music. Shout out to my Monster Music. They are amazing for routines, putting music together. And he put my routine music together. And I didn't use it. It was 3.5 years later. I'm dreaming, dreaming, dreaming. I have 3 dreams. I think it was might have been more, but 3 specific dreams where I dreamed I could compete again. And I thought, well, if I'm dreaming this, why am I dreaming this so much? I just kept dreaming about fitness competitions. I thought, if I'm dreaming it, I could probably achieve it. And then pretty soon I went to the doctor and he gave me the clearance to go for it. And pretty soon after I got through the fear, I was feet over head, pretty soon I was practicing, and really it was 3 months later that I won Miss Fitness Universe. And so what I want to say about that really is it's not like I was in my best shape ever, the best candidate ever. I was just trying to get back up one more time. I got up one more time. And that gives me chills. And God knows the desires of your heart. He wants you to have the desires of your heart. He prepares a table in front of your enemies, in the presence of your enemies for you. And in a way, some of these crazy things that have happened to me, like he put me on a free billboard that was huge in the middle of Times Square, allowed me to go to France to celebrate my son in a Cannes Film Festival, and so many things. I have not got a lot of time to talk about it today, but just so many things. And here it is. I wanted to cancel and not go to this show because I had so much on my plate. I was going to New York every weekend, working with Trisha Brook in the speaker salon every weekend on a Wednesday. I was running a business. I was training for the show. I was training a girl, one of my clients for the show, and we kept bumping her later, later. Let's do that show later. And I thought, I really don't want to go compete this time because I I don't have time. How am I going to eat right? How am I going to train right? How am I going to show up right? But because I was training her, I was like, I have to show up. So I did everything that I could while I was doing everything uh, that I've ever dreamed of. And God blessed me with my championship and a pro card. And so what I want to say is I didn't have any idea when I was down and out. I thought, oh, I'm never going to do anything cool or meet anybody cool again. Here I am with the hamstring injury. I'm down and out. It wasn't looking too likely. I couldn't run my way out of a freaking paper bag. I mean, 90-year-old ladies were passing me up on the street. And so if you're down and out today, I just want to encourage you that you can win your pro card too. And it's a pro card in life. It's that pro card where you get back up and you're better than ever before. And you accomplish your wildest dreams because you refused to quit, you refused to give in, and you kept going. And God brings us better out of this setback. Your comeback is always better than that setback. And so just really looking back today helped me to look forward, because God always has better for you than you have for yourself. And you think you needed all those things to accomplish X, Y, and Z, but maybe that isn't all you needed. And just surrendering to the one who made us takes us so much further than we could ever dream of going on our own. And that is all I have today. I really could say more, but I have to go and teach a class. I get to go and teach a class at my gym, the Sisterhood of Sweat Fitness Boutique for women. Wow, on the same street where I used to work 60 hours a week to take care of 2 kids as a single mother. And I really appreciate my husband who helped me put that gym up and really was the blood, sweat, and tears behind the operation of getting the gym together. So I shout out to him today. And I just want to say your wildest dreams can come true. And it's all about your why. Why do you want them? Do you want them to convey a message to others, to inspire others, to uplift others? Think about your why today, because your why is what brings you forward. It's what takes you through the hardest times you'll ever face. And I just want to say, have an awesome weekend. Bye, everyone. And as always, keep on keeping on.